Hello and welcome to another edition of Marcus Meets. This is the first one of 2021 and very privileged again to be meeting Fiona. Hello Fiona, how are you? Now Fiona, you're in assessment, aren't you?
I am in assessment, yes. And I've got
so it's very different. I've met various members of staff and their different job roles within the organisation. I've met foster carers who've been with the company for many, many years. And I think more than anything, I'm so excited to talk to you today because you're not even approved yet, Fiona, are you? You're on this journey of blue sky, and you're going through this assessment. So,
I am.
Fiona, tell us a little bit about you then. What's really interesting was when we spoke many months ago, was it back in May last year that we had a chat? I think many people listening today will have felt what you felt, and it was this maybe feeling that you didn't have enough experience to be a foster carer. Now, Fiona, for those that won't know, Fiona's a single carer. She lives with a lovely dog, Bella, don't you? Is Bella going to make an appearance today, Fiona?
I think she might do. Yeah, okay. She's just playing with a ball at the moment.
Lovely.
I will call her back.
Fiona is a single carer, and Fiona, you've never had children. So you know, our initial conversation really was around, am I right for the role? Do I have enough experience? So can you kind of give us a feeling of how you felt, you know, that maybe that trepidation, making that inquiry, and what happened?
Yeah, well, Marcus, I mean, I've thought about foster caring on and off the last few years, and I never quite sort of made that step really to go sort of forward. I mean, because I was trepidatious. I thought, well, you know, I don't have children myself. I don't have that experience, and I'm by myself, and I just didn't know. But my background is I'm a nurse, and I'm a midwife as well, although I'm not a non-practicing midwife now. And I've worked in a neonatal intensive care unit. And so I've got experience with children. I mean, I'm very lucky. I've got two gorgeous, I've got a niece and a nephew, and I've got some lovely godchildren as well.
Yeah, not just a few. You're godmother to 6 children, aren't you?
I am.
Right? Yeah, very popular.
And actually, some of them I delivered myself as a midwife.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I just see anybody that wants to post anything to ask Fiona any questions, those that maybe haven't applied with the agency. I know Pam. Hello, Pam. She's welcoming you to this Facebook Live event, and I know Pam's gone through the process and is thinking about applying with the agency. So she was really keen to listen today, really, Fiona. So yeah, carry on. So that felt that you had a lack of experience. I think, quite frankly, people are going to be blown away by all your experience and those skills that you can bring to fostering. So carry on.
Well, yeah. So that's when I Googled, as you do, and I came across Blue Sky Fostering and had a look at your website and some of the links there, because I thought, well, you know, if I'm going to do this, I really need to be prepared. Because so I gave you a ring, Marcus, and we had a chat, and I basically said, look, I don't know if I'm right because I don't have kids on my own, and also I thought I'd be too old as well. I mean, I may look 21, but I'm not.
Absolutely, yeah. You can't give your age away on this live broadcast, Fiona. All right, you're 32, Fiona, but carry on.
Oh, I wish I was again, but anyway.
But in all seriousness, what Fiona is saying is something every day I get those calls, Fiona, and I get these, single carers calling me up saying, I'm not sure, is this going to be right? I don't have a secondary backup, So then we talk about your peer group and support group and your network locally to you. And again, age is a huge, people think it's a barrier to fostering, and they think, am I young enough to do it? Am I too old? And we will always say, age is just a number, genuinely. We've got carers in their 70s, if not, touching 80, and carers in their 20s. So it takes all sorts. And you felt then, Fiona, that you might be too old to foster.
I did, yeah. And I was single. And I hadn't had children. And so anyway, I've learned that actually, through all the training that, and I know we'll talk about that, but I mean, all the training and the contact I've had with you, Marcus, and my assessor and all the people in the office, you know, it's really sort of boosted my confidence, actually, just that, yeah, actually I could do this. I know I've got a lot to learn, and I've learned so much. And I know that I'm going to have the support there. And you go through this assessment period, and I think I'm learning, or that actually I'm learning so much more about myself. Actually, I could make a difference. I could support somebody who is in crisis. I mean, that's what I think. Oh, Bella's come and say hello.
Oh, hello, Bella. Is she gonna show her face to the camera?
No, Bella, are you going to say hello? Are you going to say hello? Who's that? Oh, there she is. Can you see?
Yeah. You know, another question lots of people ask me, Fiona. You know, can we foster? We have pets. We have dogs. We have bearded dragons. We have goldfish. You know, and it's a big yes from us. And she's a rescue dog, isn't she?
She is a rescue dog, and I mean, certainly, well, in my life, I've always sort of been around animals, but also in my professional life, I think that, I mean, therapy animals, therapy dogs are just amazing. I mean, some of my sort of background in nursing has been with people who have sustained a spinal cord injury, and I was the registered manager and head of care for a new facility, and one of my main things was I really want us to have, you know, a therapy animal. I even wanted therapy chickens, but we didn't quite get that far. But we had a therapy dog that came in, and the people that we supported loved it. And I think for, you know, for a child or a young person, or having an animal there to sort of identify with, but to be with, sometimes, you know, maybe children may say things to that animal or express something that they may not be able to express to someone else.
That's lovely. And you're very much not a single carer then, are you?
No. No, Bella and I come, we're together.
It's you and Bella. You are a team, absolutely. And look, thank you everybody for posting all your messages. Trisha, Amanda and Rachel, you know, it means so much to us that you're watching today. And if you've got any questions, I see Rupert has come up with a question as well, Fiona, straight away. So Rupert works within the organisation, and he's asked really what's been your, you know, biggest learning point to date really with the agency.
The biggest,
and he has a dog too, as you can see. His profile picture.
The biggest learning thing, well, I learned an awful lot about myself, and that I actually have got a lot to give. I've learned a lot about children and young people who need to be looked after by somebody else. I've learned that foster carers have a huge responsibility and a huge amount of training, but also have a lot of, well, certainly with Blue Sky, I've learned that the system is so supportive. And I mean, I had no idea that being assessed would be so robust and so in depth.
And I will just to interject as well. There are lots of carers go through this process, don't they, Fiona? And sometimes, you know, throughout that assessment process, it is intrusive, isn't it? We talk about your life and the nitty gritty and your experiences, and people have got to be ready, haven't they? I mean, it's a kind of 4 to 9 months of an assessment. I mean, when did you apply? We had a chat in May, didn't we, Fiona? And then you applied around the September time that you applied.
Yeah.
There was that lag, and what was that period of time then, Fiona? You between, you know, having that chat and feeling enthused and wanting to foster, and then applying later. What was your journey? What gave you that confidence and, you know, to apply?
So obviously I spoke to you, and I spoke to other people in Blue Sky, and I had a virtual meeting to look at my care room,
Okay.
And
How was the virtual meeting? Because obviously we're in these really odd times of, you know, COVID times and lockdown. And how was a virtual visit? What was it like?
it was okay. Do you know what? I think we're all getting so used to doing things on Zoom or, you know, Teams or whatever it is. And I think it's almost, it was something we just had to, you know, crack on with, if you like. I mean, you know, Rachel and Amanda and people will say, you know, all our training has been online. It's been by, you know, it's virtual training. So I don't know what it's like to be in a classroom with other potential foster carers. I just don't know what it's like. But I mean, we've got through it, and it's, you know, yeah, it's not been a big deal for me, actually. Although, I mean, saying that, I do a lot of stuff on computer anyway, and I've done Zoom presentations, so that may be difficult for other people, but what I would say is that just go with it, because everyone's sort of in the same situation, and at the end of the day, it's sort of a means to an end is wrong, but it's part of the process. But, you know, and part of being, you know, a carer, whether you know, a foster carer or caring for someone else, you have to be flexible and adaptable. And so, yeah. So,
and again, I'm being blown away with all these lovely comments from Gilly, you know, and from Becky. Thank you so much, going through exactly the same situation, or have gone through assessment just like yourself. And so from our chat then to the virtual visit, to you applying, there was that lag time, wasn't there? Sort of, you know, 2 or 3 months. Can you talk about that? And, you know, where did you go? Did you seek advice from friends, family? You know, what was that decision before finally applying?
Well, actually, so this might resonate with other people, because I mean, you never know when is the right time. And for me, I actually had I had to have some medical investigations because I found a lump. So I contacted you guys and said, look, I'm really sorry, but I don't think this is the right time at the moment, because I'm going through these investigations. So I need to focus on that. Anyway, to cut a long story very short, still got the lump, but it's fine. It's not anything nasty, so that's good. So then we spoke again, and I said, okay, well, let's, you know, when is the right time? You never know when the right time is. So I thought, let's just go for it. And that's why I'm here.
Yeah, no, lovely. And you know, we talked about lockdown and COVID and the assessment, how it's very different. And I can see that Rachel has said, actually, it's been great because you can link in with those carers miles away. And that's what we've discussed before, haven't we, Fiona? Because you're very, you know, like-minded. You're going to connect with somebody further out of area that perhaps in the old normal, that wouldn't have been a possibility, would it? It would have been those local carers, and you're getting advice from carers. Have you formed little support groups? Do you have those support groups and buddy carers?
Yeah, we've got a WhatsApp group, which is great. So we sort of link in every now and again. You know, some of you know, we might find something that's interesting to watch on the TV. There may be a documentary, or there may be some resources that are online. You know, it's like, oh, you know, have you seen this? Or you know, and so we sort of, you know, we've been sort of helping each other, and you know, we send the odd joke as well, of course.
Is there anything that you can tell the people watching today that's really resonated with you? A particular article or a book or some online learning or some theory that you can say, you know what, that worked for me, and go and read it? Because all these lovely people, some are in assessment. I know Pam is not applied yet. She's thinking, I know this is for me, but is there anything you could guide them in that way?
Well, do you know what? I'm just looking. I've got a pile of books, and I actually found the Kathy Glass books really interesting, very useful, because they were very easy to read, and gave me a sense of the different types of children and young people coming through the system, and because she's a very experienced foster carer with over 25 years of experience, and it was really interesting to learn the process about, you know, how to prepare your house, you know, who was the supervising social worker, what did the children go through, you know, with their reviews, and other very important people in their life, like the teacher and teaching assistant, or they may be with in the therapeutic learning or a special school, or just even parent and child. Actually, I read one of her books on parent and child. So for me, those were a really good introduction. There's Dan Hughes. There's lots of people. There's lots and lots of things on YouTube. There's Blindside was a really good film I watched, and it was American, but that was about a family who took in it's a true story. Took in this guy who became a very, very famous American footballer. And that was really it was good to see how he had, you know, how he had got to where he was at, if you like. You know, his mum was, you know, a drug addict and things like that. And
you're extremely well read and well watched, then, Fiona. You really embraced this, haven't you? And I think it's interesting. You've touched on parent and child, and again, you know, Blue Sky, I talk again all the time. We're an outstanding Ofsted rated agency, and it's about matching and making sure that young person or that scenario is the right scenario for you. So I know, Fiona, at the beginning, we chatted about all types of fostering, including a parent-child assessment. I know you then had your virtual visit, and it was very much looking at, let's look at parent-child. You've got that midwifery background, you know, nursing for, is it 40 plus years you've been in nursing and everything. And that was the natural kind of chat, and we understood that where you lived was a second floor apartment. And tell us about, you know, your assessor, you know, understanding matching and how, you know, I don't think parent and child is something you're going to go down that route. So can you talk a little bit about that? Yeah,
that was really interesting. Because I thought, oh, you know, when initially it was like, oh, well, because I've got an education background and a nursing midwifery background, I thought, well, that would actually go together quite well. And but because I live in this old building with you know, the window is a grade 2 listed building, and like the windows are really, really old, so I can't do anything about them. So from a health and safety point of view, that was something that I had to really, you know, it was obviously you've got to have a safe environment for the people you're supporting. And my assessor said, look, I've had a chat with some other people who do who have you know, parent and child placements, and we think that it would be better if you went down the you know, 8-year-old plus. I'm really sorry to disappoint you, whatever.
Yeah, was there disappointment there for you? You know, is it trust in the agency? How did you know? Is it something you really were excited about and then that's been curtailed?
Well, I'm just excited about the whole thing. I actually said to my assessor, I said, you know me better than I know myself really now, because there's a very, very deep, intensive assessment, which, you know, it really is robust. And I'm so glad it is, because you've got to be matched with the right child or young person, because no one wants a placement to fail. And I said to Nikki, my assessor, look, I place myself in your hands because you've got the experience, and you will know. I don't know who would be good for me because I've never done it before. So I think, you know, I'm being guided by you because you've got the experience of knowing the type of children and what type of environment that they need. Because again, no one wants to fail a child or a young person who's already gone through a really critically difficult time.
So that we've shaped you.
I'm not disappointed.
And going back to this assessment process, you've obviously learned so much. So you applied in September. You're due to panel next month, I believe. So, you know, give those people thinking about applying and going through assessment, what happens? You know, how many assessment visits have you had virtually? How many training modules have you done? What does that look like? How long is it, you know, when you've had your assessor speak to you, how long does that commonly go on for? Is it 3 hours of an evening? What does that look like?
So with my assessor, we met virtually every Saturday for 2 hours. So we put 2 hours aside, and as I say, I mean, I'm sure other people agree. You know, it is very intensive. Almost, I wouldn't say intrusive, because that would be a negative word. It's a positive thing, because you know, we went through all the skeletons in every single cupboard that I've got in my life, and you know, some of it was difficult. You know, I got myself a box of tissues, you know, because no, I'm just trying to, I'm not making light of it. I'm trying to be open and just so people, I mean, I needed to talk about my childhood, my relationships, my family, my work, what was it that made me do the things that I've done in the past, and I sort of have embraced it, because I'm thinking, well, for me, this is nothing compared to what a child or a young person's gone through to end up needing the support of other people rather than their birth family. So so I sort of, you know, open my heart, really, because I wanted to make sure that I was the right person to support and nurture and guide someone in distress. Does that make sense? Or someone?
I think you're going to resonate with so many people, you know, in this process, and that, you know, the box of tissues really that, you know, everybody goes through. You know, there are skeletons for everybody, and it can be hard. So, you know, it's good that you've given people an understanding and a flavour of what, you know, what that entails really. What about the training, and how many workshops have you done? How many modules of training have you done?
I've done, okay, so you have these pre-panel workshops, you have key terminology, because there's so much new words. I mean, yes, I've been in the medical nursing, you know, caring profession all my life, but there's lots of new terminology that, you know, you have to get your head around. All about the legalities, about child sexual exploitation, about children who go missing, about therapeutic learning. We've done radicalization and female genital mutilation.
Some really heavy stuff there. And I actually spoke to somebody yesterday, you know, and again, somebody just asked the question, said, what does it cost me to go through an assessment? And I said, nothing, you know, and again, people, you know, don't understand, and it's free. All the training is free. It's part of our commitment to you as a carer, you know, to put you through that assessment process. So anyone thinking about it, you know, who hasn't applied or hasn't made that inquiry with me, there is that number at the bottom, 0800 035 6499. Pick up the phone, make an inquiry, just as you did all those months ago, Fiona, and you know, have a chat, and you know, and again, as Fiona didn't feel she had the experience, which was ridiculous, you know, in hindsight, and all the experience that you've got. But there are people out there that haven't got children. Every case by case basis, you know, you haven't got children, but you've got 6 godchildren, you know, and all the work that you've done with those. So
and everyone, it's looking a little bit sort of outside the box as to your transferable skills.
You know. And do you have a buddy carer that's helped you, you know, that's an existing foster carer?
Well, because of this, the where we're at, sort of with the COVID and all that sort of stuff. I've speaking to different people. We've got our WhatsApp group. I know some people do have buddy foster carers, but I don't have one because I think because with our group we've been supporting each other as we go along anyway. Because so for me, I mean, I know that some people do have buddy foster carers, but for me at the minute,
so there's a group of you then, Fiona, in assessment that you're all communicating all the time, and I'm sure you've got made great friendships already then.
Yeah,
and I've got a funny feeling that I think people would like to follow your journey in fostering, because you know, I'm sure people are going to be asking me when your panel is, and I'm sure you'll be approved with flying colours. And you know, I can imagine talking to you in 6 months, 12 months about, again, more learning, because you're ready now and you're going to learn all over again, and you might have had a couple of placements, and you're going to talk about, you know, it'd be lovely to have a chat with you about those experiences as a newly qualified carer.
No, absolutely. I think, you know, you say about learning, I think we continue to learn, and if we're not learning, then there's something, you know, there's something wrong there. I think, you know, life is all about a learning journey, and never too old to learn. I mean, I learn new things every day, really. And I have to say, I mean, you know, I'm going to sound biased, but you know, for me, Blue Sky has been absolutely brilliant, and you guys have got Ofsted Outstanding, and you absolutely deserve it, because there's so much support and learning, education, training. It's such a professional service that you provide, and you know, it makes me feel very safe.
Oh, that's so lovely. And I mean, that was going to be my last question to you, Fiona, really, because you've been absolutely fantastic today. But yeah, it was really going back to our initial chat and everything you've been through. Why was it, you know, why was it Blue Sky? Did you try, you know, other avenues, and what made you, what drew you towards Blue Sky? Because you didn't know any of this before, and before you applied, the support you're going to get. So why Blue Sky?
I think because you were Ofsted Outstanding, for sure. You've been doing this for a long time. So you've got a lot of experience. And yeah, I guess it was just looking online, because we were in the COVID thing. And so I had that time to really think and say, right, okay, well, I think, you know, Blue Sky is the one, because they're very open, they're very transparent, and this is what they got to offer. And, you know, they don't, it was very much, it wasn't pushing, I didn't feel pushed at all as to whether I should or shouldn't apply. It was left very open. And for me, that was great. Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely. And I'm sure I talk, you know, for everybody really, Fiona, to thank you for today, for your time, but also everybody now is going to be wanting to know in March whether you're approved or not. So I'm going to have to get you back on at some point to talk about your successful approval and a young person in place. You're happy to come back and have a chat, Fiona?
Yes, of course. And I just want to say, you know, a huge thank you to Blue Sky, and yeah, it's I just I'm relishing the future. I'm really excited, because you know, having been a carer all my life, you know, a nurse and whatnot, I do feel I can't just give all my nurturing to Bella, my dog.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure how Bella's going to feel about it. She's going to embrace that young person in place.
Well, I think so. As I say, having a dog is just brilliant, because they know when you're happy, they know when you're sad, and I think she's going to be so much part of being a supportive network for people who I support in the future, hopefully, when I get through my panel.
Yeah, well, I think what you've done today as well, if it resonates with one other person, Fiona, you know, your passion, you can clearly see your passion and enthusiasm and your nurturing side. And I think if just one person applies as a result of it, you know, we'd have had an absolute result.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I mean, please do call that number. Let's have a chat. You know, you'll get to meet Fiona in the future. You get to meet myself. Thank you for spending your time today to, you know, impart your knowledge and what you've learned with the agency, Fiona. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. Thank you, Fiona. Take care. Bye-bye.
Well.
Thank you.